Hey Toy Collectible fans, this is Fly Guy for TekSushi.com. Giving you a look at the Mandroid, the final Build-A-Figure, or Build-A-Droid in this case, section or figure overall from this wave of all these Marvel Legends. Now, all of these Marvel Legends are reviewed on a channel. Just check out the Marvel Legends playlist and you'll be able to watch them and others from many years ago. So you have to collect a lot of figures, in fact 6 of them, to get all the parts here for this, but you do end up with multiples. Makes a very strange kind of collection. However, and sadly, because Black Widow is short packed, you need her very badly because that's the entire central body is the part that comes with her. So inside all of these figures was a flyer which gave you all that information. There's a little bit more there. I'll just pull back to let you see. So in all the different figures, you got a different part, and if you haven't seen it, that's what you need to get all the parts together. So once you've gathered them all together, you pop them on to each other, and this is what you get. One hulking, huge, gigantic figure. So this S.H.I.E.L.D. Mandroid, I am sure we saw this in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. briefly for 2 seconds in the background somewhere, or I remember seeing it somewhere recently anyway, in some drawing or something, but anyway, the S.H.I.E.L.D. Mandroid is the figure here, and pretty much this is a bit of a kit bash from some older figures. It's very much the previous Build-A-Figure from the Iron Man 3 Marvel Legends wave. And the Ironmonger figure there is very, very similar in some ways, particularly down parts of the legs. But there's a lot of it brand new, this huge kind of slicing tool as far as I can tell. The machine gun here. So bits are kind of similar, like the hands, I think. But apart from that, it's a new figure. So is it good? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not a bad figure by any means, but there definitely are a couple of flaws. Number one is you've got to get a lot of figures to basically get this overall. So it's quite an expensive one to really collect. You've got to spend hundreds of dollars to basically get this guy. So he's very tough to kind of put together in some ways, for some of us anyway. So getting a look at the back of him there, he does have pretty good articulation. All of it is very hard and solid plastic, particularly the legs. They're very, very solid. The only kind of letdown in some ways is the main body, which is a very hollow and very light piece, which doesn't quite fit in. The plastic, the thicker plastic, is a slightly different look, but ultimately it's not much of a difference. You can't tell it too much. But it's just a shame that they didn't use the same kind of plastic and keep it heavier. But there we go. So all of the parts here are all plugged in and put together. And there's a fair bit of movement. You'll see, if I can maybe pull it out still. No, probably not going to be able to now. I've popped it in. But you'll see there's a joint on. You can just about see there's a joint there in the shoulder. So it's stuck on in a ball joint, which allows that to rotate and move. You'll also get at the, not at the tops of the shoulders, it looks as if it is. Is it? Ugh, no. Nope, definitely not. But we do get swivel at the wrist there, and again, so at the elbows, you can just see that joint there. But because the figure's so bulky, you can't really move them. There's not much you can do in terms of this is basically as far as it goes. You do get pretty silly, really limited wrist articulation because you can't even move it. So it's a little tough again. Because of his suit of armor, you're just really restricted. Same on the other hand, you can see the joint there as it plugs in, and the elbow joint there too, and that wrist. But you're only really getting a slight swivel in that wrist. In fact, it's near on impossible because of this piece. You can just see it there if I move it. That's as much as you get. So it's kind of limited. We do get in his waist, we've got a swivel. So that's pretty good. A good on full round swivel for us. There's a fair bit of posing there. The head, now that head is actually plugged in on a ball joint. But by God, you cannot move that thing. It's absolutely stuck in there. So once you get it, it's just really hard to move. So make sure you get it put in properly and carefully, because otherwise, if you end up to the side, it's bloody hard to get a screwdriver or something down there to prise that off to start all over again. Bit of a shame. It just seems a little too short and too submerged inside the head. Just raising it a little would have really helped. It just, I don't know, it just seems like a wasted opportunity there, or some way that the head could have elevated or moved, but it doesn't. We get this gun turret. This part also came with Black Widow, which plugs in. It's a little warped, sadly, some of them, but it's still a good looking piece, and you get a little bit of paint on the end. So it's a kind of like a War Machine kind of side-mounted gun on his shoulder. The legs have lots of articulation. You'll see the joints up at the top, ball joint with a hinge. In the back there of the knees, you'll see that too, which is double. Oh, there you go, the legs came off, as it's intended to do. Double joints on the knees there, all the way down. And you do get, you'll see that ball joint down there at that foot. Pretty good, considering he's got so much armour. There's a fair bit of movement in there for that, so it's a kind of rocking ball joint. And he gets a peg hole too, as if you need it to make him stand. So yeah, there you go, there's the parts, that's how you connect it all together. And that's how you make your Build-A-Droid. So look, an expensive figure to put together, one that not all of us can buy and get hold of. You can pick this up. There'll be a link directly underneath to go and buy this, as I think they have a few of them anyway. The Dr. Said Toys have this for a separate figure that you can buy on its own. So if you want to create your Mandroid army, or you've already got one but you want another one, then that's the place you want to go. It's a good figure. It's a very good figure. Just a little disappointed by the body and the head. I think that was the two kind of letdown pieces, but still looks good. I love big hulking figures. He looks great with some of the Iron Man Marvel Legends that I've got. So yeah, pretty cool looking figure, and not a bad one for the Build-A-Droids. But yeah, let's see some changes the next time. That'd be good. Well, the next one we know of is Jubilee from the X-Men Legends. So if you haven't pre-ordered them, definitely do so, because they're going to sell out. People are just going to be miserable trying to get Jubilee. Love to know your thoughts on Marvel Legends so far. What do you think? What do you think of this figure? Is it worth the time, money, and effort to get all these guys? Leave a comment below, and we'll have lots of other Marvel Legends and reviews coming up soon. Cheers.